You have a project folder on your computer that you haven't opened in 6 months. Deleting it means admitting you'll never finish. This isn't a lack of discipline, it is goal gridlock. Your brain struggles to process the loss of invested time. It sits there. In this video, you'll understand why your brain traps you in dead ends. I used to leave 20 tabs open for a side project I hadn't worked on in months. Leaving them there meant I didn't have to admit I was giving up. It starts with a single file. Then it becomes a massive argument in your head. You tell yourself you'll start this weekend, knowing perfectly well you won't. There's a reason you hold on to that old project. You might notice a sense of resistance the second you consider letting go. You may find that for many, walking away feels like a threat. It can feel like you didn't choose to freeze, but this is often a common behavioral pattern where you struggle to let go. The trap of trying harder. Your morning checklist carries a heavy weight. Keeping every door wedged open takes a massive amount of energy, and you end the day completely drained without moving an inch forward. There is a name for this pattern, and knowing it changes everything. You already tried forcing a hard deadline. You made the rigid schedule. It failed. The day passes, and the dead goal stays right where it is. This paralysis isn't a character flaw. It is a common behavioral pattern. But living in this suspended animation drains you dry. Right now, before anyone has even asked, you're already building a defense case in your head to prove you're still trying. You rehearse excuses in the shower for a task nobody else even remembers. Much of your exhaustion may stem from the energy required to sustain this pretense. You refuse to let go, so you drag the unfinished work everywhere. It eats your morning. Tomorrow, you'll wake up and carry it again. Then you wonder why you have no energy left to build anything new. That true cost goes far beyond a wasted afternoon. A familiar tendency often causes you to overvalue past effort, behaving in ways that feel like an automatic subconscious reflex. Every domain it touches becomes more expensive than the last. Why you wear the uniform. You introduce yourself with a title for a pursuit you haven't touched in over a year. Quitting the pursuit feels like quitting on yourself. The microphone collects dust in its original box. You already know these labels are outdated, but the defense runs anyway. Conversations become a pitch for a startup that hasn't existed since last summer. That specific label functions as a comfortable hiding place. Identity fusion often plays a significant role in this cycle. For many, tying self-worth so tightly to an outcome makes removing the title feel like losing a piece of your identity. Picture a uniform you keep wearing for a job you no longer work at because you have nothing else to put on. Taking it off leaves you standing there with nothing. The old luggage comes with you to avoid facing an empty room. Write down who you're without this one specific goal. Pick one abandoned idea today and formally declare it closed. You are clearing the space, but you do not yet see what is waiting to fill it. Holding on to an outdated identity drains your focus. The price you pay when you misread the friction of a new path is far steeper. The lie your friction tells. To avoid that friction, you tried waiting for motivation to strike. It didn't hold. The sudden burst of energy never arrived. Many people often quit when facing difficulty, sometimes due to the unrealistic expectation that progress should be easy. Skipping 2 days of a new routine can lead you to mistakenly decide the entire program is flawed. Picture throwing away a new pair of shoes just because the lace is knotted. The shoe works perfectly. You might find that the initial struggle can manifest as physical tension. You may notice your jaw setting or yourself mislabeling normal effort as a sign of disaster. When you feel resistance, you might interpret that sensation as a signal to stop. For many, that initial physical burn can trigger a sense of alarm. You want the physical result, but you refuse to pay the entrance fee. You trade a year of strength for 20 minutes of comfort on the couch. Push through the next 10 minutes of discomfort before you make a decision. Staying in motion proves the pain is harmless. For many, that heavy pressure often starts to lift as you settle into the motion and your heart rate climbs. From there, observe the shift in your own focus as the initial urge to quit fades. Walking away early costs you a win. The next version of this struggle shows up in places you think you are safe. It follows you into your private hours. Paying for yesterday's mistakes. One choice cuts the loss and frees your cash today. The other keeps you in a losing game to justify what you spent in the past. Same subscription. Past effort blinds you to future costs. You keep pouring water into a cracked glass because you poured half the pitcher yesterday. It leaks anyway. You let the $80 membership auto-renew for a premium tool you haven't opened since March. You do this to dodge the sting of a bad purchase. Admitting a wasted transaction hurts more than accepting a quiet monthly charge. Same leak. The sunk cost is gone forever. Ask if you would buy into this today if you were starting from zero. Log into the portal and cancel the subscription immediately. Tell one friend you canceled it. Saying the words out loud to someone else makes the decision real and stops you from quietly resubscribing next month.
The cost of standing still. 3 times this fires. A simple text sits on red for 3 days. You delete a drafted message and send a vague meme to keep the connection breathing. An entire year of a broken relationship drags on to dodge 10 minutes of an uncomfortable talk. You refuse to make a choice because hovering seems safer than committing. A passive stall can feel like it prevents immediate mistakes, but often just delays the inevitable. Picture keeping a foot in the doorway of a closing elevator so the machine beeps endlessly. That noise is your life on pause, zero movement. A refusal to step inside or walk out leaves you stuck in the threshold, paying the toll for keeping your options open. Set a 48-hour timer to make the final call. A rigid deadline forces a true choice and shatters the illusion of infinite time. Mute the conversation while the hours drop. Hovering keeps you safe now. The relief is immediate. But this hesitation often turns into a habit of moving the exit sign, keeping you stuck longer than necessary. The finish line that moves. A thick coat of fresh paint goes over a rotting wall so nobody has to tear the drywall down. The room looks clean for a month, until the mold bleeds through the new layer. Beneath the surface, the structure is collapsing, but a cosmetic delay hides the demolition. You invent new milestones to avoid admitting the current path is dead. You promise yourself you'll tolerate the miserable job until the next bonus clears. The quarter ends, the new year arrives, and you quietly agree to endure one more cycle. A moving finish line creates the illusion of progress. You feel incredibly productive while sitting completely stationary. Adding another layer of paint can't fix the rot. Every fabricated target stretches the damage deeper into your calendar, quietly pulling you under. The weeks vanish. Setting a fake deadline is easier than packing up your desk. You sacrifice years of your prime building on a foundation that's actively sinking. Making private promises in your own head makes it much easier to abandon them without consequence. To test the logic, tell one peer your exact walkaway date. If you don't feel the pressure to follow through, you know the goal is already hollow. Now, the only swap that matters. Name your exact walkaway condition to one other person. From there, tell them to hold you to it when the date arrives. Saying the words out loud to someone else turns a blurry idea into a solid wall. The phantom timeline stops stretching. That exit is finally marked. You walk through it. How to finally walk away. That project folder is a heavy weight you no longer need to carry. Psychology provides a clear framework for dropping dead ends. Goal disengagement is the mental switch that lets you drop a path that no longer serves you without attacking your own worth. Every place you used to suffer to prove your loyalty, you now have a choice. Years pass while you wait for a sign to tell you it's okay to stop. You want a clear green light. It never comes. The universe won't hand you a permission slip, which means you're the only one who can grant that release. Deleting that project folder is your first real move. Subscribe. There's more here that hands your time back to you.